Okay, so first of all, thank you so much, Erica, for organizing all of this. It's really great to see so many other great Jewish educators all over the place. I'm coming to you all the way from Israel. I'm in Haifa, and I'm the Assistant Director of Education at OpenDor Media, which is formerly known as Jerusalem U. You may have heard of Jerusalem U over the last decade. We're now called OpenDor Media, and what I'm going to speak to you about today is actually the brand that I work on for OpenDor Media. But since I was introduced as OpenDor Media, I'm just going to give a little bit of context. So OpenDor Media, if you've never heard of us, or Jerusalem U, we're an educational media company that produces high quality videos, films, educational resources, telling the Jewish story. We just changed our name to OpenDor Media because we're all about having an open door, accessible Jewish Israel education for Jews all over the world, wherever they are, through media. And we have three divisions or three brands. The first one is Unpacked, which is our YouTube channel. I definitely recommend subscribing to our YouTube page, Unpacked, where you'll be able to access all the videos that I'm about to show you. Then we have Imagination Productions, which stores all of our various full-length feature films. You may have heard of films like Beneath the Helmet or Mekonnen or Crossing the Line. Those are all films of ours. And what I work for is I really focus on Unpacked for Educators. And Unpacked for Educators is really the brand in which we incorporate all of our videos and all of our films, and we provide high quality educational resources to go with all of them. So I'm going to go to the Unpacked for Educators website. You'll have the opportunity either while I'm speaking or afterwards to go to this website and check it out on your own. It's unpacked.education. And if you are teaching about Israel, if you are teaching about Jewish history, Israeli culture, going forward about Judaism, this is your dream come true. Specifically right now, this is your one-stop shop for all things Israel education. And I'm going to give you a tour of our website because we're very excited about it. And there are hundreds of Jewish educational institutions all over the world, really all over the world, that are utilizing our resources. And we want to make sure that you know about it and you have access to them and you know how to utilize them as well. So I'm going to begin, as you can see here, on unpacked.education by clicking on videos. So over the last year and a bit, what we've done, you can read through the titles as I'm scrolling through. What we've done is we've released a new video every week for the last year and a few months. As you can see, this series here is a series on Israeli culture. Some of the episodes were Israeli food, Mizrahi music, Ethiopian Jews. If you keep scrolling, this is our Israel history series, which was a year-long series, which covers every topic from the history to the politics to Mossad operations, famous politicians, startup nation, all of Israel's wars, what is Zionism, the founding of the state, everything that is on any curriculum having to do with teaching Israeli history, we've essentially got a video about it. And as I scroll through here, you can see all the various topics that we have covered, which is very all-encompassing. And I'm gonna click on a video to show you a little bit about what we include in addition to the video. Before I do that, I just want to point out that often when it comes to the Israel education world, Israel educators often avoid the controversial subjects. Sometimes because they don't feel comfortable teaching it, often because they don't know how to address these subjects. So one thing that we do, and we make a concerted effort to do, is we want to cover everything. We want to cover, when we talk about Israeli history, we want to cover all of it. The good, the not as good. As you can see here, we have our video about Dir Yassin, which is a topic that is rarely taught in Jewish schools or in Jewish educational institutions. However, when Jewish kids are going to college campus, they're hearing all about it. And often, unfortunately, they're hearing about it for the first time. And we want to teach everything ideally before they get to college, so that they have a really great foundational knowledge in all subject matter having to do with Israel. And we make a real concerted effort with all of our videos and all of our resources to try to present as unbiased and nuanced a product as we can. We try to focus solely on facts and presenting various perspectives and asking the right questions and getting students to think critically and form their own opinions. So I'll click here on the life and assassination of Yitzhak Rabin. Like I said, all of the videos are give or take 10 minutes long. And they're all accessible, as I told you, on our Unpacked YouTube page. But here you go. So you've got the video, and you can watch the video, and I'm going to go into later how to use the resources. But once you scroll down, here's really the dream come true. Let's say you want to teach about Yitzhak Rabin. Look, you've got ready to go experiential learning activities. You've got review questions, which are essentially, if you're giving a quiz, you're giving an assignment, you don't need to do the work. We've done it for you. You've got a quiz ready to go right here. Discussion questions and learning activities ready for your classes. High quality, nuanced questions that are based on Bloom's taxonomy that are really promoting critical thinking here. Reflection questions, so they can really look at these, look at the subject matter on their own and really reflect on it. And of course, every video also includes a tab called Further Learning. And the further learning is podcasts, videos, articles, books that have to do with this subject matter. That could be for you as the educator for your own PD, or you could use that if you're putting together a unit on the subject matter and you want to add to what we've already given you or what you already have. Here are more resources that you can reference that are terrific resources having to do with the same subject matter. So every one of the videos that I presented just a few minutes ago comes ready to go with all of these educational resources. The review questions, the discussion questions and learning activities, the reflection questions, and further learning. And just so you know, we're adding in the coming weeks, I'm sure you're all familiar with Kahoot, you're all Jewish educators, right? We're adding Kahoots to every single video as well, which is also very useful and very easy for you. You've got video, you've got Kahoot, you've got discussion questions, classroom tips, learning activities, you're ready to go. Specifically, if you are not in a formal classroom setting, then the experiential learning is always very useful. There's a lot of camps and BBYOs and youth groups, Hillels even that use the experiential learning in combination with the discussion questions. So you really go through here and pick and choose what's the best fit for you and your institution and your students and incorporate it in that way. One thing I want to add is that with all of these videos, there's a lot of ways to utilize them. Some teachers will show the video and go into a Socratic seminar with the discussion questions and the learning activities. Many teachers will show the videos, but constantly pause and then ask a question, do an activity, and then continue. That way to break it up. A lot of teachers, including myself, who teach, I still teach a course online to the school I used to teach at in Canada. I do flipped instruction. I do flipped classroom in that I send a specific video to my students along with some hand-picked discussion questions and reflection questions that I want them to pay attention to and take notes on while they're watching the video. And then when I'm face-to-face with them in class on FaceTime, because it's online, then I actually go into the discussion and go into those learning activities with them, and they've already thought about it. They've already thought about it in a deep way. And with the review questions that I showed you, I can give them a quiz to start the class, which is what I do, using these review questions. So I can check for understanding to make sure they watched the video, they paid attention to the questions, and then I go into the discussion questions and reflection questions that I had already given them. There's also teachers who use the videos for project-based learning, PBL, in that they'll give them a certain subject matter, give them the video, and give them some of the links from further learning, and boom, put together your assignment based off of the use of these resources. So that's the videos. Next, I want to go into the weekly. So the weekly is something special that we've been providing over the last year and a bit. And essentially what it is every Monday morning, once you subscribe up here, which I'll get to later, you will get an email from us. And that email will take whatever the most interesting, controversial, popular issue in Israeli current events or global Jewish events, whatever that issue is, we've taken that issue and we've written an email that is written by educators for educators. And what we do is we essentially break it down by saying what happened, why does it matter, differing perspectives, and then discussion questions and classroom tips. I'll give you an example. If we go to a few weeks ago, when General Soleimani was killed, we did our weekly on Israel, Iran, and the US, what you need to know. So I'll just give you a little example of what it looks like. The beginning is a little introduction from our Senior Vice President of Education, Noam Wiseman, who's based out of LA. So there's always a little introduction, and then we go into it. What happened? Why does this matter? With different reasons of why this matters, written in a very simple and concise way, and it includes articles and videos and extra resources for you to read as well. What is the diversity of perspectives within Israel, right? After that, every single weekly has discussion questions and classroom tips. So whatever the topic is that week, whether you're an expert in it or whether you are not as comfortable with the subject matter, after reading our weekly, our goal is that you feel comfortable enough with the subject matter that you can go into your classroom or you can go into your educational context and you are ready to go with the discussion questions and classroom tips and the resources that we've given you. Just so you know, there's almost 2,000 Jewish educators that receive our weekly on a weekly basis. So we love it, of course, if you subscribed as well. There are synagogues that use it, youth groups, Hillels, and of course, high schools, including middle schools as well. So again, when you have your own opportunity, you can scroll through here and see that really all of the most prevalent subjects over the last several weeks are the ones that we've been covering, including this one, which I think is really interesting. A lot of us love watching Israeli shows online. And the question is, how do we incorporate Israeli media into our classrooms in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Israel? So we've given practical tips in that one, the rise in global anti-Semitism, and everything else you can imagine. So that's the weekly. Okay, so you may be thinking at this point, great, these videos look awesome. The weeklies look awesome. I'd love to use them, but I am drowning in work. I do not have time to go through all of them and figure out how to fit in which videos in which unit, how to figure out which weekly is appropriate for what I'm teaching. Great. We agree, we've thought of that. And what we've done for you is we've developed 2 curricular outlines to make it really simple and easy for you. So we've made 2 curricular outlines which utilize all of our videos and all of our weeklies in an organized fashion. So we have them by ascending level of sophistication or chronologically by decade. So you can determine which one's a better fit for you. Let's say, for example, level of sophistication. I'll show you what it looks like. All you do is click get the outline. It's very easy and takes you right into the curricular outline. Again, it starts off with affective goals, behavioral goals, cognitive goals, and then we jump right into the curricular outline, which again utilizes all of the videos and all of the weeklies that I just showed you. So in this curricular outline, it begins with internalizing the relationship, laying the foundation of our connection with Israel. What's the purpose of Israel? What are the founding philosophies that led to Zionism in Israel, pre-state history, right? Then we go into Israeli and Zionist identities. Israel is a Jewish and democratic state. So we've really built that connection with our students to Israel before we go into anything conflict related, right? Our connection with Israel is not the Arab-Israeli conflict, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We have a connection with Israel for all the reasons that we know. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is, of course, something that's important to teach about, but that's not the basis of our connection with Israel. So we want to build that foundation. And then here you have the Arab-Israeli conflict, looking at internal issues within Israel, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and then leading to contemporary Israel, culture, startup nation, current events, and all of that. So all you have to do is click on curricular outline, and you've got all of your curricular outlines ready to go. One great thing that I want to tell all of you is everything I just showed you, videos, the weekly curricular outlines, they are all free, completely free. All you need to do is go to our website, unpacked.education, favorite it, bookmark it, and click on the top right over here, subscribe, which just asks for your name and email, takes you all of 3 seconds, and then you have access to everything, which is wonderful. And it really honestly makes your life better. It's all made by educators for educators, and we're here really to make your lives better, to give you wonderful and rich resources that you can utilize. And we do it through media in a way that we know that in the States, for example, teenage kids are spending over 8 hours a day looking at screens. So if they're looking at screens, let's get them learning about their history and their heritage and their story. And this is a great way to do it. One more thing I'd like to add before I conclude. So I went through the videos and the weekly and the curricular outline, is that through this website, you also have access to our full-length feature films. So if you click on films, you can see here some of our films. Sustainable Nation, many schools just ordered Sustainable Nation, which is a movie about the water crisis and how Israeli scientists and researchers have been working around the world to solve the water crisis. When Smoke Clears is a film about Israeli soldiers and PTSD and how they're working together post-army. A lot of these films, they've appeared on Amazon Prime or on Netflix. They've been in film festivals. They're really, really well done films. I say this again, everything that I'm telling you, I'm not saying this only because I work at Unpacked for Educators. I was a teacher in the classroom up until October for the last 8 years, and I religiously use this stuff. And I was someone that really valued my own materials and my own resources. And as Unpacked for Educators kept putting out more material, I basically always preferred what they were putting out and utilized their resources in my class. So again, if you want to access the films, you can click on films up here. The films are the only thing that costs money on the website. It's not so expensive. If you're working at a school, it's within budget. And again, what I'd like to add is either right now on your computers, if you haven't done it yet, or as soon as this webinar ends, go to unpacked.education, click subscribe. All you need is your name, email, and then you're subscribed and you've got access to all of this. So one more thing I'd like to add before I conclude is we also have a Facebook group called Unpacking Israel Education. Erica invited a bunch of you to join a few weeks ago, and thank you for that because a lot of you did join. If you're not in this group, we'd love for you to join. Just request to join Unpacking Israel Education. Let us know who you are and we'll add you in. And this group is another resource in which you can build community with other Jewish educators teaching about Israel. We provide our resources. We post new videos. We post videos based on the date, this date in Israeli history, this date in Jewish history. And we ask questions that are being asked throughout the Israel education world. And it's a great place for people to discuss and network and work together. So I believe that's it for now.
Does anybody have any questions for Avi? If you do, unmute yourself, please. No questions. You answered everything. I'm sure you will get some outreach after this call. And of course, we're going to post everything. But I want to highlight the fact that you said the word free. This is
Yes.
one of the things that I continue to talk to JT members about, to prospective members, that so many of our partner organizations have phenomenal resources and many of them are free. So this is absolutely one for you to take advantage of if it's something that you're bringing into your programs. And it's got content and activities for both formal educational environments as well as informal educational environments, and engagement, social stuff, all that kind of stuff. So please reach out to Avi if you have any questions. Please subscribe, visit the subscribe to the website, subscribe or like the Facebook page, and we will definitely continue this conversation in the future. So thank you, Avi.
Thank you so much. Just one more thing I'll add.
Yes.
I went through the website just now and I showed all of you Israeli culture, Israeli history. Just so you know, in the coming months, we're also coming out with many more series. So our next major series that's starting this summer is a Jewish history series, which is going to cover all of Jewish history from Lech Lecha until today. So keep your eyes open for that. And once you're subscribed and you're checking our website, you'll have access to all of that as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
more one things?